All right, my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to be talking about DLSS 4. So I've had a few days now since I bought the that CyberPower PC, the Supreme whatever blah blah blah. So it has a 4070 Super, it has a 7800X 3D in it. I've actually had the opportunity now to sit down and play around with some of these. Games, and I want to give you guys my honest opinion on it, and kind of try to maybe help you understand what I'm seeing on screen. So before, when I had Nvidia GPUs, and I was testing, between FSR and DLSS, I was going at it from a quality setting. Like I was testing DLSS quality versus FSR quality. So I was not seeing the massive difference that you guys always seem to talk about, because it's just not there. FSR and quality versus DLSS and quality, they actually look rather similar, to be completely honest with you. I mean, yeah, you get a little bit more artifacting in FSR, but like when you're playing a video game, you just don't notice it. And so like here I am in my mind looking at you guys thinking like, what the hell are you guys even talking about? Like, you guys are crazy. This is not as bad as you're trying to make it out to be. And then I started realizing, because I really don't watch a whole lot of Digital Foundry or any of those guys anymore. Like every once in a while you guys will send me a video and I'll watch it just out of curiosity, but I don't actively go out of my way to look at the videos that these guys make anymore, just because I don't care. Like I don't care anymore. Like I've got my own two eyes. I buy this stuff, I can look at it on my own screen and make up my own mind. That's what I do. Like I just make up my own mind. And so when I don't like going to like those sites and then being force-fed that horse shit that like DLSS is no, man. I don't care. I've never really cared that much about upscalers. I'm like, if I gotta use them, then fine, I'll use them. If I absolutely, I mean, that's why I bought a 3440 by 1440p monitor, is because I don't really necessarily care about upscalers. I would rather just kind of have that native image quality, to be completely honest with you. I do like that. The anti-aliasing and all of that kind of stuff really doesn't bug me too much. It depends. I guess we'll put it this way. It depends on the game if it's going to bug me or not. I do have some weird tastes, and for the most part, guys, it's not as cut and dry as you would think. So, but with this time, okay, I've been testing DLSS mainly in the performance mode and testing FSR in the performance mode, my friends. And I gotta tell you, like DLSS 4 in performance mode really does look very good. Like I've been testing this on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Star Wars, the Outlaws. I've been testing it on Alan Wake 2. I've tested this on a bunch of games, and I gotta tell you guys, like I am actually pretty impressed. But I do have something to kind of tell you guys, and I don't know how you're gonna take this or whatever, but okay, so I'm in Alan Wake 2, and I'm running around, and I'm looking at this game, and I'm like, okay, this looks good. Like when I'm in the diner or walking around in the street, stuff like that, I'm seeing like the geometry of the building, stuff like that. I'm like, this looks good. Like this is nice. It's really clean. Doesn't got a lot of stair stepping, anything like that. There's no shimmer and anything like that. Like this looks very good. But then I get over to any vegetation in there, and I look at it, and I'm like, why does that look like these fake plastic trees that like you would go to like Costco or something and buy, like fake plants? They look plastic to me. And so I think that's like one of the things that throws me off with DLSS, because this time I actually was like, wait a minute, I need to look at that. So I got right up close to like there's like a plant in front of the diner, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that looks plastic. That doesn't look realistic. That looks plastic to me. And so then I started like, looking for that in some of these other games that I'm playing right now. And I'm like, dude, you know what? The vegetation always tends to look a little bit faker with DLSS on. And so I was like, okay, maybe that's what throws me off. I play a lot of games with a lot of, a lot of vegetation in them, a lot of open world games. So when I'm seeing that and I look at that, and so it kind of helps me reiterate or kind of re-examine and re-explain what I see, like, because I'm always talking about, like, it looks too sharp, it looks too perfect, it looks uncanny valley. That's what I'm talking about. Like that, now I understand, because I was looking at that and I was like, dude, these just look fake. And then I went over into the little park area and I'm looking at all the bushes and everything, and I'm like, okay, that's what it does. It makes the plants, it makes the vegetation look weird, because you got to have that contrasting area. You have to have that city type area versus, you know, I'm going to be checking this out in Spider-Man 2 as well. Like, I just haven't had the opportunity. I don't think that on a 1440p monitor, it kind of looks a little bit different, but it looks like the vegetation has that like fake look, like you're looking at it in terms of, like, you know, like the fake plants and stuff like that. And so there's things that I could easily nitpick about DLSS, but I don't think that that's the argument. Like, I don't think that's the argument. And I think that's where we tend to disagree a lot, because here we are, you guys are looking at it as in terms of AA, in terms of sharpening your image, getting rid of the ghosting, getting rid of like the imperfections, stuff like that, like the fizzle, whatever. DLSS does an amazing job at that, okay? But those things don't necessarily matter as much to me as they do to a lot of people. So when you scream in my face, all caps, telling me that DLSS is better because of that, and I'm looking at other things in the image quality that matter more to me, that are being stripped out and taken away versus what I'm receiving, that's where I think that's where we kind of differ a little bit. I think that's why I think DLSS is overhyped, and you guys overhype it. And, you know, if we were just looking at it from, and this is me being honest, if we were just looking at it from a image stabilization and delivering a crisp looking, then yeah, absolutely, DLSS is going to win most of the time, especially in performance mode. Like, performance mode on FSR definitely leaves, you know, not necessarily a lot to be desired, but it definitely does show more artifacting. It definitely does show more ghosting. It definitely shows more of a fizzle pop kind of thing. But the thing is when I use DLSS, the image instantly becomes more 2D-ish, whereas with FSR, I still get that 3D pop that you get from a video game, because I'm not losing the atmosphere in between that DLSS is kind of stripping out. And you can notice it in a lot of games that use like fog and volumetrics and stuff like that. You can definitely notice it more in those types of situations where the overall image is going to look more dense on an AMD GPU, whereas with DLSS on, it's going to get rid of that. You can mitigate that to some extent if you utilize just native resolution over on the Nvidia side. But there's a lot of things, okay? And then obviously the color thing, the color science is definitely different, okay, guys? You got two separate manufacturers building GPUs. One of them is going to recognize and display colors in a different way. It's just how it is. Every single camera on the planet, Sony, Nikon, all of them have different color sciences that they bake right into their sets. And so the way that they see color is the way that they produce color. That's why when you look at PlayStation 5 Pro, even it being on an AMD GPU utilizing RDNA 2X architecture, and you look at the color science of that just on a PlayStation versus the color science of what the same damn GPU in an Xbox Series X, one looks bright, vibrant, and you know, nice, colorful. The other one looks more crushed black, toned down, just more contrasty. They have their different color sciences, okay? Now, that's easy to prove on the Xbox and the PlayStation 5. I'm looking for a way to figure this out on Nvidia. Now that I actually have a second build, my friends, I don't have to sit in Jones to play on my AMD card. I could just play on the Nvidia or the AMD whenever I want now. That's the biggest reason I got a second build, is so that I can 100% figure this out, because I don't want to give you misinformation. I really don't. That's never been the goal of this channel, to just sit and blindly simp or fanboy for one brand. Like, I've never really wanted it to be like that. But I feel like you guys discredit what I say just out of nonsense. That doesn't make sense because all the other best good YouTubers try to. I don't care what the other YouTubers say. Okay, I have my own two eyes, and if they were always right, like think about it this way. If all of us YouTubers, us content creators were always right, then you would never be unhappy with anything we said. Like it's easy to just it's easy to just accept everything as like, oh yeah, that's just fact. That's just fact. But here's the thing. That's their facts. That's not your facts. Any kind of thing that comes to gaming, my friends, is always going to be 1000% subjective to you. You have your own eyes. You have your own taste. Something that you see is going to be beautiful. Why do you think some art, like you walk into an art building and you look at pictures, some are going to blow you away and some are going to be like, oh gosh, that's terrible. Every time art is perceived by a human being, it is subjective to your taste. What do you think? Don't ever, 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 ever let somebody tell you what to like, especially when it comes to video games, my friends. This is an art form, man. So yeah, I think the DLSS is definitely overhyped to the point where I think people just accept it as blind truth, as like, oh my gosh, this is just the best. We could go through DLSS all day on every game, and we could literally still find things to point out to be negative, just like they do with FSR. Is FSR bad? Absolutely not. It gets the job done. You turn it on, it gives you more frame rate, and it gives you a more pleasingly aesthetically, a pleasing image quality on a 4K display. That is what it is for, my friends. You really shouldn't have to use FSR or DLSS at 1440p or 1080p. If you have to turn on FSR or DLSS at 1440p, then sir, you have a 1080p GPU. If you have to turn on FSR at 4K, then you have a 1440p GPU, because that is what it is doing. It is dropping you down in the quality setting. It's dropping you down. If you have to turn on performance DLSS on 4K, you are using a 1080p GPU to get yourself there. That's just the way I see it, man. Those are my facts. Those are my truths. Those are the way I see it. I feel like if you're going to spend $2,000 on a GPU for 4K, you shouldn't need any upscaling whatsoever. Period. At least at native. Running everything at native resolution without ray tracing. I will cut them some slack for the path tracing and stuff like that. But regular ray tracing, no. You should be able to easily hit 4K 60 with just regular ray tracing now. The path tracing definitely still needs some work, but yeah, guys. I've had a few days now. I've had a couple of days now to really test this out. I'll be reviewing this CyberPower, I guess, what is it? CyberPower Supreme PC here in the next day or so. Yeah, guys, stop overhyping this DLSS stuff. It is great. It is fabulous. And I do agree with you. It'll make sure good image quality look insanely good. It definitely does a significantly better job at the performance mode. It's good. Okay, now listen to what I'm saying. Okay, it is good. It works. It gets the job done. Is there still things that you can point out? Absolutely. Is it the next second coming? No, my friends. It still strips out some image quality for me. Anyways, I can see that. And, it does replace it with, a pleasing... guys, honestly, buying the PS5 Pro has made it significantly easier for me to look at upscaling and be like, okay, it makes sense, it works, or whatever. I just don't want to overhype you on things. I don't sit here and try to overhype you on FSR when it does a good enough job. It does good enough to where it's like, damn, that looks good, man. I've seen some stuff with FSR that I'm like, ooh, boy, that really does look pretty dang good. But I don't know why you guys, I don't understand why there's this 100% full throttle, let's trash AMD and hold up Nvidia. Why, dude? Nvidia, if anything, there should be more scrutiny towards Nvidia because they are number one. They are the best. And if there's something out there that really can, compete with that, people need to shed light on that and not. I don't like the way the industry sits here and sweeps everything under the rug for Nvidia. I don't like that. Especially after all the money that I've spent personally on Nvidia products and come away not feeling 100% satisfied ever. I do think that the industry needs to be a little bit more stringent. I mean, you've got some amazing content creators out there. Gamers Nexus, Daniel Owens, Jace 2 Cents, Linus Tech Tips. You have all of these guys out there that are incredible, man. So many people watch them and they have so much influence. they really should use that power in a good way to keep Nvidia in their place. They should. I get that they come out and they say the same stuff. Like, I think it's just been like I think most people just tune it out now. I think that's where we're at. I think most people just tune it out now. They're just like, oh, whatever, I don't care. I'm buying an Nvidia GPU anyways. AMD is never gonna blah blah blah. They don't cover AMD enough, to be fair. They don't. They need to cover more AMD. They actually need to force themselves to use AMD GPU for like a whole year. Tell them to get a 7900 XTX and play with that for a whole year and try to not use any Nvidia, and let's see if they can do it, man. All right, guys. I think we're at a point where I think upscaling is the future, but I think we need to look at this from a more I think we need to be a little bit more cautious in how we attribute, what is better going forward, man, because there's like I said, art is subjective. One thing you're gonna like and one thing you're not. Like I'm explaining that, like with DLSS, the plants look fake to me, whereas they look more realistic on FSR and stuff like that. So it's always going to be subjective, always. So your truth might not be my truth, and my truth might not be your truth, and that's fine. That we need to accept that and learn from and learn from this. There two opinions can exist at the same time, and like we can both do that, and we can still be friends, and we can still be we can still enjoy each other's company and disagree to disagree. It's perfectly okay, guys. That's why I don't. It is what it is. So all right, guys, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. Definitely going to be reviewing that PC here in a little while. I just got a lot of sim racing stuff to do. Next Level Racing sent me out some more stuff, so we're going to be taking a look at that this weekend. So all right, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you later.